People's quote of the day: the obstacle is your way to success. You are now listening to episode 7 of the People's Mentors podcast featuring Juan Pablo. DJ Cool, play a successful instrumental, por favor. Okay, we're back. Today's topic of discussion is use disadvantages to your advantage. So allow me to go over the outline for you listeners out there. First thing we're going to discuss in this topic: success is simple, but not easy. Otherwise, everyone and their mama would be doing it. Number 2, your disadvantages will force you to grow or decay, depending on your perspective. Number 3, disadvantages and obstacles teach you what not to do so you can use the process of elimination to figure it out next time. And number 4, pressure produces diamonds. Now, this was derived from the people's question of today. I received a question from an event attendee this past Saturday, because I do events monthly here in Atlanta, Georgia. And the event attendees posed the following question: Hey, Juan Pablo, how are you able to keep investing in real estate despite being ripped off in the past? And he asked me about that and about my personal experience. So allow me to share my personal experience. So you guys might have heard me say this before on YouTube videos, even on the podcast, and even in my events, I mentioned the story as well. How I was doing a fix and rent model in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I acquired this property using hard money. And being that I lived in the New York City area and was investing out of state, I didn't have eyeballs on the property. So I wasn't really paying attention to what was going on in regard to the repairs. And I would just send a check based upon photos the contractor would send me. So the contractor will send me pictures and images of painting the walls, installing the electric and so forth. And I will happily send them payment. And then one time I made a surprise visit to the property. And when I made that surprise visit, to my surprise, I ended up finding out that, man, this contractor didn't even paint the whole room. He painted 2 walls in the property and sent me a picture. And I just assumed he painted the whole house. And I paid him for the whole house. So that taught me a powerful lesson about disadvantages, right? One disadvantage was I was investing out of state. Another disadvantage is that I didn't have my eyeballs on the property. Another disadvantage is that I was young and gullible and inexperienced and knew nothing about auditing and so forth. But being that I experienced those disadvantages, it helped make me stronger the next go around. As a result of that experience, I was able to set up systems, set up processes, perform audits on my team's work to prevent a mistake like that happening in the past. Okay, so that's pretty much my story. And I just had to realize that got to screen people properly, got to audit their work, and don't be so gullible, right? And just stay motivated, guys, because sometimes you can get burned in this game of business, investing, and so forth. But you got to be optimistic and learn from your mistakes. So let's dive into today's topic, right? In regard to using your disadvantages to your advantage. So the first thing I mentioned was success is simple, but not easy. Otherwise, everyone would do it. Success is simple. In order to be successful in real estate investing, you have to perform the following: buy enough cash flowing rental properties that exceed your personal living expenses. And if you do that over and over, you will have enough passive income from your rental properties that exceed your living expenses, exceeds your paycheck, so that you no longer have to work a 9-to-5. So that seems very simple. Passive income exceeds living expenses. That's the PILE formula I always discuss in my book, The Quit Your Day Job. Your PI, passive income, exceeds your LE, your living expenses. So it seems very simple, right? But is it easy? Of course it isn't. It's not easy at all. Why is it not easy? Because oftentimes on this road to success, like I mentioned, your way to success, there will be obstacles in the way. But the obstacle is the way to your success. And when most people, when they encounter an obstacle, they tend to shut down. They tend to get discouraged. They tend to blame the obstacle for their lack of success. But what they're supposed to do is realize through their perspective that, hey, the obstacle is my way to success. If this obstacle never stood before me, I would have never thought about screening my people, my teammates, my contractors. I would have never thought about double checking their work. Because you just can't assume that everybody's going to do what they said they're going to do. Otherwise, there'll be no point of having a manager. So you have to make sure you manage your team. And if you're the entrepreneur, you don't have a manager, then unfortunately, you have to step down and be the manager. And I had to learn that the hard way. And as a result of these obstacles, they help me fine-tune my processes and my systems to make sure that I'm a better real estate investor. So success is simple. The process is simple, but it's not easy as a result of the obstacles. And if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. Everybody and their mama would be a real estate investor. But if you truly want to be a real estate investor, a business person, an entrepreneur, my friend, you have to have that mindset that, hey, it's simple, but it's not easy. And when I face an obstacle, I'm going to find a way to go above it, around it, or through it, or under it so that I can be successful. Number 2, your disadvantages will force you to grow or decay depending on your perspective. My friend, it rains on the just like it does the unjust. The sun shines on the just as it does on the unjust. Good and bad things happen to us all, whether you're a person full of character or you lack character. It doesn't matter. But your success is truly dependent upon how you perceive the world. It's based upon your perspective. And I have to say that to a lot of people, especially those who start off life with humble beginnings. So being that they grew up in humble beginnings, they may have been impoverished, they might have had a lack of resources, and they tend to blame everybody for their shortcomings, for their disadvantages. They will blame their mom because their mom wasn't financially stable to help them get through college, or they will blame their skin color. They will blame their education or the lack thereof. They will blame their age. They will blame their sex. They will blame how racist the world is. They will blame all of these outside circumstances that are preventing them from becoming successful. All these disadvantages, all these obstacles that stand in the way, it's based upon their perspective. So what I advise you to do, my friend, despite all your shortcomings, your disadvantages, have the right perspective. Always think, you know what? Being that I have a lack of education, now's the time for me to learn my God-given gifts. Maybe it's time for me to, being that I don't have a lot of book knowledge, maybe I can use my street smarts. Or being that I'm not tall, maybe I can use my shoulders and height to my advantage. Or being that I didn't have a rich uncle to help me with investing in real estate, perhaps I can use creative financing. Perhaps I need to do this. I need to do that. And that's one of my favorite quotes is creativity is birth in limitations. Without limits, it will not force you to be creative. So you have to appreciate the limitations. You have to appreciate the obstacles. You have to appreciate the disadvantages that life gives you, because it will force you to be creative only if you have the right perspective. And what's the right perspective? Having a positive outlook on life. When negative things happen, always see the silver lining in the clouds. That's the perspective you have to have. When life provides you with lemons, you have to see lemonade. So it's tough for some, but you have to train your mind to think this way. And one of the ways I train my mind to think this way, I've always read books that were positive, and I associate with people who had an abundance mindset as well. I highly recommend the book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And I highly recommend that you read that book as well. Okay, so the third tip, disadvantages and obstacles teach you what not to do so you can use the process of elimination to figure it out. The obstacle is the way. Some of you guys heard of the gentleman, Thomas Edison, right? The inventor. And what did he invent? The light bulb, among many other inventions. But someone asked him about how he felt failing at creating the light bulb, like he failed over 1,000 times. And he said, no, I just tried 1,000 different ways that didn't work so I could find the one way that would work. And that's the same mindset you have to have, my friend. It's that you have to realize your disadvantages and obstacles will teach you what not to do so you can use the process of elimination to figure it out next time. So if you try to invest in real estate and you lost money doing a fix and flip, or you had a contractor who ripped you off, or a partner back out of a deal and got cold feet, you will have to realize, okay, I'm just applying the process of elimination. I have to encounter a few no's to get to that one yes. You're just doing the process of elimination. And if you're smart, every time you reach a disadvantage, every time you reach an obstacle, you would tend to change your perspective on things. Okay? So I want to make sure you do that. Make sure you do the process of elimination to see how you can improve next time. Okay? And the fourth thing, pressure produces diamonds. You've heard that before, right? When you have a coal and you put enough pressure on it, you can get a diamond. And that's what you have to realize. That's what obstacles are meant for. That's what your disadvantages are meant for. When the pressure is on, when the squeeze is tight, what's going to come out of you, right? When you squeeze an orange, what's going to come out? Orange juice. It's that simple. But when the pressure is on you, my friend, what's going to come out of you? Is integrity going to come out of you? Is a person of character going to come out of you? Is a person who has an abundance mindset going to come out of you? A person who's even keeled under pressure? That's the type of person you have to become. So the obstacle is the way because it will help you become a better person as a result of the pressure that is on you. Okay? So I want to conclude that topic. Okay? Excellent. There you have it, my friends. So now we're going to switch segments in this program. You know it's that time for the People's Champ. Great. So I would like to give a shout out to Garrick. He's the gentleman I mentioned a few moments ago about the event attendee who posed the question, how are you able to keep investing in real estate despite being ripped off? So Gary, I'm giving a shout out to you and giving you the People's Champ of the Day for today's podcast episode because you actually drove from Athens, Georgia to Atlanta. Yeah, it's just an hour and a half, but he drove an hour and a half just to hear content, just to improve his financial situation. Round of applause goes to you, Garrick, and I appreciate you coming to our event and also signing up for our coaching program.
Shh. Listen up. Let's get this money.
This podcast episode is sponsored by 100% Finance. If you're interested in getting started in real estate investing without using any of your own money and would like to obtain business funding, visit 100percentfinance.com to apply for the free consultation. In 2017 alone, we helped small business owners, real estate investors alike obtain over $5.5 million. And you can be in the same position as well. So you can quit your day job via passive income. The link is in the description. Okay, my friends. So that concludes today's podcast episode. And my last word of motivation to you is embrace the obstacle. I know it's tough. I know you may be worried when it comes. It's never pleasant while you're in it. But in hindsight, you would appreciate that obstacle because it will force you to be creative and it will help carve a way to you becoming more successful. So I want you guys to continue to earn passively, live passionately. If you find value in this podcast, please share it with people in your circle. I would greatly appreciate that. So as always, guys, this is to your success. Continue to earn passively, live passionately. Peace.